Our scripture reading tonight is from Psalm 46:1, which says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in time of trouble." A story is told about John, a man who had spent years building his dream home, a symbol of his success, hard work, and ambition. Every weekend, he labored tirelessly to ensure every detail was perfect. From laying the foundation to framing the walls and picking the perfect color for the kitchen, he was fully invested. This home was more than just a structure. It was where he envisioned raising his children, celebrating anniversaries, and creating lifelong memories. It represented years of sacrifice, sweat, and perseverance. But one fateful night, disaster struck. While John and his family were asleep, a fire, sparked by a faulty wire, broke out. Within moments, flames engulfed the house. By the time the fire department arrived, all that remained were smoldering ruins. The home he had poured his heart and soul into, the place he thought he would grow old in, was gone. John arrived at the scene, frozen in shock. His heart sank as he stood before the wreckage, watching his life's work reduced to ashes. His family had made it out safely, thank God, but the overwhelming loss left him paralyzed. All the late nights of hard work, the years of planning, and the money spent gone in an instant. He turned to his wife and children, but no words came. Amidst his despair, John recalled Psalm 46:1, a verse that had comforted him in past struggles. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Yet, in that moment, it was difficult to believe. How could God be a refuge, and everything he had worked for was taken away? Falling to his knees, John cried out, not in anger, but in desperation, "God, where are you? How can I move forward? How will I ever recover from this?" The weight of his sorrow was crushing. His life had unraveled, and he saw no way to rebuild. But as the days passed, something extraordinary began to happen. Friends reached out after hearing about the fire, offering help in ways John never expected. His childhood friend, Mark, welcomed John's family into his home. Others brought food, clothing, and toast for the children. These small but meaningful gestures reminded John that, even in his darkest moment, God was providing. It wasn't just his close friends, his church family also rallied around him with overwhelming love and support. People he barely knew offered financial assistance, donated essentials, and prayed fervently for his family. The church launched a fundraiser, and before long, enough had been collected to help John take the first steps toward rebuilding. The generosity extended beyond the church. A local furniture store, moved by John's situation, pledged to furnish his future home. A neighbor whom John had only exchanged greetings with before offered him a temporary job doing home repairs in the community. Through these small yet powerful acts of kindness, John felt something he hadn't felt since the fire: hope. But it wasn't the rebuilding of his home that gave him hope, it was the rebuilding of his faith. John began to see that the things he valued most, his home, possessions, and financial security, were fleeting. They could be lost in an instant, just as they had been. But one thing remained constant: God. Through this trial, he realized that he had been holding on to material things too tightly. Now, with nothing left but his faith, he was discovering that God was truly enough. As time passed, John slowly rebuilt his life. The journey was difficult, but with each step forward, he saw evidence of God's provision. His church family remained by his side, and even strangers became instruments of God's love. John's heart overflowed with gratitude. Months later, standing before his congregation on a Sabbath morning, John shared his testimony. His voice was steady, but the emotion in his eyes was evident. "Losing everything was the hardest thing I've ever faced," he began, looking at the faces of his fellow believers. "But through this trial, I've learned that God is truly my refuge. When I had nothing left, He provided in ways I never imagined. I'm stronger now, not because of what I own, but because I know God will always take care of me." He paused, allowing his words to sink in. "You see, I thought I was building a home, but what I was really building was my trust in God. Even when everything fell apart, He was there to pick up the pieces. I've learned that I don't need to rely on what I see. I need to rely on the one who has always been with me." The room was silent. The congregation, having witnessed John's journey, felt a renewed awe for God's faithfulness. They had seen firsthand how God had provided, just as Psalm 46:1 declares, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. John's testimony resonated deeply. It reminded everyone that no matter the trials they faced, God was always present. Strength doesn't come from possessions or control, it comes from trusting in the unfailing presence of God. Reflection. We often think of refuge as a physical place, a house, a fortress, or something tangible that shields us from life's storms. But true refuge is not found in material things, it is found in God alone. Difficult seasons may challenge our faith, but they also strengthen it. Like John, we may not understand why we go through hardship, but God uses these moments to teach us reliance on Him. John's story reminds us that even in loss, there is gain. He lost his home, but he gained something far more valuable, a deeper trust in God. No matter the storms we face, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, God is our refuge. He provides strength when we are weak and sends help in ways we least expect. Let us trust in Him completely, knowing His provision is always enough. Just as He was there for John in his darkest hour, He will be there for us too. May we never forget, God is our refuge, our strength, and our ever-present help in trouble.